Well, Sam was a pretty. He kept him at arm's length all night. It's probably more due to the fact that just the difference in forward efficiency, wasn't it? You guys were just really efficient tonight, and I guess the Saints weren't as efficient as you guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of ways you can look at the game. Well, you can look at it from a positive lens and say, we were kicked a reasonable score for the amount of inside 50s we had. The other way to look at it is why we're only going inside 50 42 times. So, there was some things to unpack in the game, but one of those games I'm not sure too many are rushing home to watch the replay.
I guess, and so in that, taking that into consideration, are you half glass full or half glass empty tonight?
Bingo. Right, it's a great question. Depends on which piece of vision or which clip I'm watching. There's a bit of both. I mean, there were some good things come out of the game. Whether that, it was really, Meeky did a great job. He won the medal. That was fantastic. Whether it was Josh Battle's performance, I thought he was outstanding in tough circumstances. He had obviously playing against his old side, and thought he had a great game. Even then, like Nazai Wanganeen-Malira, I hope I pronounced that right. I'm going to have nightmares about him. We scouted him, we tried so many things, he just couldn't stop him. He's just too good. So, talking about that, probably glass half empty. Talking about the first couple, glass half full.
Where do you worry most about Wanganeen-Miller off half back through the midfield?
Oh, just wherever he is. Even when he's on the bench, I was worried about him by the end. I knew, not watching him before tonight, I knew he was a really good player, but I didn't we tagged him with 3 or 4 different players in 3 or 4 different positions, and he was just too good. Whether he was winning it contested or uncontested, he just he's a star.
I guess your defence really held up pretty well tonight as well, considering what we mentioned earlier, Sicily Battle that we mentioned. Barras was very good as well.
Yeah,
Pleasing aspect of the game.
I thought Tom Barras I thought he really dictated the game in the first 20 minutes. I think I saw at the end of the game that he'd only taken 3 intercept marks, but he must have taken them all in the first sort of 15 or 20 minutes of the game. So all of their forward 50s he marked basically in that early, and we needed that because we had lost a bit of momentum, and they looked quite potent in that early phase. And I thought he really dictated the game. And then later in the game, it was probably more Josh Battle in the second quarter. He had a really dominant period of the game where every time they went forward, he was able to win it back. So we don't want to rely on individual brilliance, but in those couple of instances, we probably did. So from a system point of view, we've got a bit of work to do. Losing inside 50s by double digits is not a sustainable way to play for many teams. Certainly, it's not the way we would like to be playing. So there's a bit of work for us to do, but by the same token, it was a reasonably mature sort of performance where we got the job done, and every time that they looked like they were getting a bit of ascendancy, we had a couple of key plays that happened, and we were able to get it back.
You had 10 individual scorers inside that forward 50. Must have been nice to see the team being able to share it around, making it difficult for St Kilda to stop the forward race.
Yeah, I was really. I thought, obviously Jack Gunston's been a bit of a headline act for us, almost accidentally in a way, and for him to play his role so well. Wilkie's a absolutely fantastic player. When you scout him, he's a genuine A grade player, and so consistent. And so for Jack to be able to half nullify his influence and hit the scoreboard himself was great. And then a lot of players, individuals, just popped up at the right time, and we probably could have a bit like them, could have made the most of some opportunities at different stages. I think they missed some shots that probably kept them just at arm's length, as you mentioned, but I thought both teams probably missed some chances.
You've been down with Josh Battle before. How tricky do you think it was for him this week, and then also tonight with the crowds pretty vocal early on him as well?
Yeah, I was really pleased that our fans got behind him and really cheered him home, and it makes sense that they'd be disappointed to lose him. He's a very good player, very important to us now, and I was rapt that the Hawthorn fans, every time he went near the footy, they got right behind him, which was plenty. I think he was our highest possession winner tonight. So. He handled some difficulties enormously well. So I was really pleased. There was an accident, on the freeway and he ended up getting pulled over by the police on the way to the game. So he's having one of those days where it's like anything could happen. And so to be able to perform under those difficult circumstances, I think that shows the level of character and maturity that he has.
But did the cops think that he was involved in? Was he responsible?
No, it was not. It was nothing like that. Nothing untoward.
You scored 11 3 from set shots tonight. Was it pleasing to see the players take advantage of their shots in front of goal?
Yeah, I mean, goal kicking is a bane of every coach's existence. I think I didn't know that stat. I only remember all the ones we missed. I mean, as a coach, it's usually the time you spend looking at vision or stats or discussing the other coaches, any plans that you have, what the runner might go out with if it's a goal. So I usually miss most of the goal kicking. So what I do know though is our players. We've been very theme focused this year about when we work hard we improve, and so goal kicking is one of those areas that we were quite poor at a couple of years ago, and we've put a lot of work on a big program. A lot of people have put a lot of work into it, individual players, but also staff who have got a program in place behind it. It's not always going to be right, but the work works over time, and we're getting a bit of reward for that now.
How hard is it going to be the last couple of months to juggle the players coming back into the side with Warple and Sicily tonight, Devin Calcidier and Mitch Lewis, and then Will Day? I mean, can you bring them all in at the same time? Do you think your best side at the end of the year is with all those guys in it?
It sounds like all those names feels like there's probably 27 in our best 22, we would have said it was going to be difficult to fit Sis in, and then unfortunately we lost Josh Weddle. So you kick that can down the road. Right now we're picking the team that we think will get the job done, and did tonight. So next week we'll have the same dilemma in match committee, and that's the dilemma you want. It's much better to play all the players you want and a couple miss out than to be able to pick the team and say, oh well, I hope he can perform at the level. So I'm really the playing group have got an enormous level of commitment to whether they play or don't play, making sure that they understand their place in the squad is vital for us, and there is a 0% chance that we go the rest of the season unchanged.
4 wins in a row now, including a couple of pretty good scalps as well. Do you feel that like you're building some really good momentum heading into the most important part of the year? Especially obviously the top 4 is so important. That sort of thing.
Not really, if I'm honest. There's some parts of our game that I'm really pleased with. There's some things that are working really well, but every coach is after utopia. I thought there was a level of maturity about our game where we went into the game favourites and we played in a way against a side that we knew would be really difficult to play against. St Kilda are never an easy team to play against. You know that they're going to pull you apart, they're going to cause you threats. I didn't know they'd have a player get 40-something possessions and 1,000 metres gained despite getting tagged. I didn't know that maybe. But everything else about the game, you kind of suspected that was going to happen. And so I thought the players handled it in a mature way. So there's some positivity about that. But if you put our performance tonight up against the very best, does that stand up? And that's what we're aiming for. And we've got some work to do to get to that spot. But right now we sit 11 and 5, and we're probably somewhere between 5 and 8, I would assume, on the ladder after the weekend. And that gives us a chance. But we're going to have to kick it up a gear at some stage.
We'll just take one more if we want.
Any injury concerns?
I don't think so. I haven't heard anything. So fingers crossed. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Sam.